Hi, and welcome to AlphaBits. AlphaBits is an outlet for our inquisitive minds. We can't stop experimenting with new technology, and we want to share what we're playing with you. We're your hosts, Brian and David.
Hi, I'm David, the founder of the Raw Code Academy and perpetual learner, always playing with new cool tools that I'm going to share with you as part of this podcast.
And I'm Brian. I'm a developer advocate at Amazon, and I love all the shiny new toys in tech. It's kind of my passion is testing out the new stuff and seeing what's cool.
All right. What I'm showing here is my fork of Bluefin. So Bluefin is the containerized, well, it's not containerized, OCI-based distribution of Linux. So in a nutshell, you are pulling containers, and those containers are the base of the system. So it's the delivery packaging format for your operating system. It uses RPM OS tree under the hood. And Bluefin is at ublue-os/Bluefin on GitHub. So I've got this fork of it. And in my fork, I wanted to make a few changes, but still keep all of the upstream stuff. So I found this yesterday. It's called Way Pull, and it keeps your forks up to date with automatic pull requests. So to set it up, you go to the GitHub app. Really, just right here. Go to the GitHub app. We open that in a new tab. It says, all right, great. If I hadn't already added it, there'd be a button that says, add this to my GitHub user, my organization. So I did that, and I gave it permission to work on this one repository. Inside the repository, there's one file called pull.yaml. So it lives under .github pull.yaml. I told it the base branch is main, and the upstream is at the ublue-os org. And the merge method is hard reset. There's a couple different options for merge methods, but this is going to be the simplest, most painless option for just getting upstream requests. So once I authorize that and tell GitHub Actions here, I have to tell GitHub Actions that it's okay to allow GitHub Actions to approve and create pull requests. This is a big deal. Once that's done, I can go into the documentation down here, and it gives you, where is the directions website here? So it tells you the getting started bit. And the first thing you have to do is add that YAML file. And then you go to this magic link here. And let me just paste that in. And that tells you whether or not your setup is good. So we'll add GitHub bkettles and Bluefin. And it shows my config here as JSON. So it's not going to merge unstable things. And if there's a merge conflict, it will label my PRs. So let's go back to my fork here. And you can see that overnight, there was a push to the ublue-os Bluefin repository. And that commit changed a couple of files. So it looks like we added some new desktop wallpapers for the framework series. That's nice. So I can review this and accept it. I'll just approve it. And it isn't going to run. I don't need it to run the workflows because they're just images. So I'll just merge my pull request. And now my fork is up to date with upstream. And really all I had to do was approve a pull request. So the pull request happened automatically. And you can go in and look at the hard details on how to set up automation. You can choose how much it's going to do on your behalf. And that's really slick. So I could set it up to just automatically merge my pull requests if I wanted to, but I'd like to see what's happening. So that's where I'm at. Way it sounds really simple, but it's a real time saver when you've got forks that you want to keep up to date.
One of those super practical, easy to adopt tools. So
Yeah.
Always nice to see.
Definitely a big quality of life improvement for a tiny little tool.
Yeah, always something that I guess, I mean, GitHub should really just have this baked in, right?
Really, it should, but it is what it is.
Awesome. Thank you for your demo. All right. So Tea is essentially a package manager, but it does some things different from other package managers. One is that you don't install anything, you just run them. So you can run Tea, and feel free to pick a programming language or a binary that I may not have in my machine, Brian. Sorry to put you on the spot.
That's do you use A-Twin for your shell?
I do.
Everything I can think of, I'm sure you already have. Fuzzy Finder, ripgrep. How about Duff?
I don't have Duff. What's Duff?
DUF, Duff.
Oh, no, I do have that. Okay. All right. Let's go with Nim. Just because I've been reading about the 2.0 release. Nim's a programming language. I have no Nim command, but I can run tnim help. And now it's resolving the package graph. And if it finds a package, which it already has, it installs everything that we need. You can see there it pulled in nimlang 2.0, and then we get the help output. So now I've successfully run a command that I don't have installed on my machine. And of course, now that that's all cached, it's much quicker. So I can just do this. Now that's not magic enough, right? So I created another demo. Bun is a command that is like an npm, but faster. And if I run which bun, you'll see it's actually in my T directory.
Okay.
Now, the way that I actually got this to work is by creating a symlink. So we can then take another tool, like which T and Zig. Now, all you have to do is create any symlink and point it to T, and it will actually work out what you're trying to run based on the symlink name. So here, I can run shzig or Zig. And it's now installing the Zig language compiler. We'll give that a second. And there we have Zig. So you can use the symlink approach. However, there's other ways to do this too. I also have two directories here, a project with a README and a project with a YAML. So let's jump into project README, which has a readme.md. Now, one of the challenges or problems that the T project wants to solve is documentation within projects that tell you what you need to successfully run and work with the project. Other tools that do this rely on some file, like Aquaproj had its YAML-based file. But then the problem is that could then drift from the documentation, and you've got two different things. So while you might update your aquaproj.yaml, you may forget to update your README, and then you've got all this thing that doesn't really make a lot of sense. However, if you can just say the documentation is the canonical source of truth, like a README file, then T can work out what you need from that. So from here, we can run T sync environment, SE, which will scan or find the readme.md. Notice that we have the header dependencies with a markdown table and pull in everything that we need. So we'll let this run. Now, it does spit out a bunch of environment variables. So, the best way to do this would be to stick it into a dir env and just run like source t se, like so. And now if I run go version, I'll have go 121 because the README said we want go 121. Now, if I open a new tab and go to another directory and run go version, my machine local version of Go is 120.7. So now we have this environment documented via README. But I actually like the explicit approach. So if you want to do that route, you can use a t.yaml where you can specify your dependencies. Here we're saying that we need wget and npm. And again, we're just running sync environment, and it pulls in the correct npm, which in this case is 981, whereas if I go to my own npm, we have 967. So T's a really interesting choice for development environments and magic tooling. My favorite feature, though, is this prefix thing. This, I don't have to go and work out how to install Nim. I don't have to work out how to install Zig or Rust C or Cargo or anything like that. I could just say, T, I want to run this thing, go find it for me, and it does. Of course, you've got to be able to find these packages. So you can do package search. I'm going to need one more package name. I'm running out of stuff. How about, that's going to be too esoteric, isn't it?
Yeah, do pony. Yes.
Wasentime, Wasamenifin. I am failing wildly. There we go, done it. So you could use T-package search to find things. Now the pantry is not, which is where they store all of the definitions, is not. It's not got as many packages as Homebrew. It probably doesn't have as many packages as Aqua. This is a very, very early project, but I think they're focused on developer experience and developer environments. We'll hopefully encourage more people to adopt the tool, which means more people will add more packages to the pantry, and eventually we'll end up in a state where it is feature complete. And I actually went through the process last week of adding Terraform CDK to the pantry, and it was super easy. It was like 20 lines of YAML, so the experience is pretty good.
So does it automatically manage your LD variables, your package config, pass, things like that? And does it take care of all that for you?
Yeah, so when you run the sync environment, it spits out all of that. I'm not in a project. It spits out everything that you're going to need. So you can see here, there's the SSL certs, there's some Git stuff, there's the LD libraries.
Okay.
So, all the OpenSSL stuff is provided depending on what it is you're doing. In this case, it's just Go. So yeah, it tries to cover all of that. You can actually do more with the YAML approach too, where it can not replace Dirtenv, because Dirtenv is awesome, but you can also start to do things like Brian
setting variables,
and
like go root, for example, or something like that.
And then that would come out of the sync environment too. So there we go, right at the top. So it's cool. It does also try to support Dirtenv. It doesn't support all of the features. So if there is any MVRC, it will export all the environment variables, but it doesn't support the macros like source up and such. So yeah, it's pretty neat.
That's pretty slick. Have you run across anything that doesn't work in terms of, I'm always worried about like the LD library path, the LD flags, things like that. If you come across things that don't build, can't find the package config bits, anything like that?
I mean, I haven't used it in anger in production or else like that. I've been exploring it for the last, couple of weeks. I've added it to a few of my projects in my mono repository, but they're all really simple tools. It's just Rust, Cargo, Go. So I'm sure there are going to be things that are a challenge, but so far it's worked very well for my use case.
Nice. That's really cool. Good demo.
If you want to hear why we showed off these tools, check out the podcast available at alphabits.fm. Until next week, see you soon.